So I'm going to be talking about the funeral prayer, how to perform it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So the practice sunnah is to perfume the deceased. So after we washed and dried it, before shrouding it, you perfume the places of sujood, the forehead, the tip of the nose, his hands, his knees and feet. And this is when we are carrying the deceased corpse or funeral, we can find a beautiful and strong smell because we are preparing it for its grave. So this is leading on from the previous video of washing the deceased, and this is just like the last part to that. Now I'm going to be talking about the funeral prayer. So when we've done with this, it's time for the funeral prayer. So the benefits of the funeral prayer, the Prophet ﷺ encouraged us to do so by saying, whoever attends a funeral prayer until the prayer has been offered for the deceased, he will have 1 qirat of reward, and whoever attends until the deceased is buried will have 2 qirat. The Prophet ﷺ said that the 2 qirats are 2 huge mountains in the Haram in Mecca. Once the Imam offers a fard prayers, he offers funeral prayers. People start reading sunnah prayers and not the funeral prayer, when they're able to pray them after the funeral prayer, as the funeral prayer holds great reward. So the ruling of funeral prayer is a communal obligation. If one offers it, the whole community is exempted. If no one offers it, the whole community is sinful for skipping it. So funeral prayer is composed of 4 takbir, and the sunnah is to offer the first takbir and recite Fatiha. Some scholars say that it is sunnah to read the opening supplication, the inauguration dua we read. This is not the most authentic opinion. There is nothing in the sunnah that says that we offer the inauguration dua. We skip the inauguration dua in funeral prayer because the Prophet ﷺ never said it. It was never reported. The second reason, the funeral prayer is designed to be short and sweet. If we extend it and prolong it, this would defy the purpose of it. You say Allahu Akbar, say the Fatiha. The sunnah is also to raise your hands every time you say the Fatiha. You don't recite a surah after the Fatiha. You go to the second takbir and you offer the salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, to the end, and then you raise your hands and say the third takbir, and you make the dua for the deceased in the third takbir, or the third after the third takbir. So there's a number of duas that the Prophet used to say sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The sunnah is to say them, but if someone wants to say some other duas, you can say that. So Allahumma gfir li, etc. So there's a long dua, and obviously the meaning of it is, oh Allah, forgive our living and our dead, those who are present among us and those who are absent, our young and our old, our males and our females. Oh Allah, whoever you keep alive, keep them alive in Islam. Whoever you cause to die, cause them to die with faith. Oh Allah, forgive him and have mercy on him, keep him safe and sound, and forgive him, honour the place where he settles and makes his entrance wide, wash him with water and snow and hail, and cleanse him of sin as a white garment is cleansed of dirt. Oh Allah, give him a house better than this house, and a family better than his family. Oh Allah, admit him to paradise and protect him from the torment of the grave and the torment of hellfire. Make his grave spacious and fill it with light. Oh Allah, do not deprive us of the reward, and do not cause us to go astray after this. So if a deceased is female, you change the pronouns for this dua. If the deceased is a child or a miscarriage, the dua is, you say it differently. So there's 2 versions which you'll be able to find, inshallah. And the duas are to be said in Arabic, but if you cannot memorize them, you can recite them in English if you don't know the Arabic version. If you don't know anything, make general dua, such as expand his grave, and then you say the 4th takbir, then you pause for a while. Maybe you can make dua as it was reported, find dua, and then one salam to the right as it was reported, and it is sunnah. Some scholars have thought make 2 salams, but this is not according to the sunnah. But if you're happy to do that, there's no problem. The corpse is in front of you is different for males and females. So the standing position for the female and male is different. So if the deceased was a man, then the imam should stand right in line with his head and chest. This is a sunnah. But if the deceased was a woman, the imam should stand in line with the middle of their body, as if to cover the body almost with his standing position. And this is a sunnah. So if someone comes late and misses some of the takbir of the imam, there's no problem. If someone misses some of the takbir of the imam and comes, for example, in the 3rd takbir, where he's making dua, you say Allahu Akbar and recite Fatiha. The imam says the 4th takbir where he will conclude, so you say Allahu Akbar, which is your second, and you offer salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the imam gives salam, you offer your third takbir, do dua, and then offer 4th and do your salam. someone misses the prayer altogether and does not see the deceased body, you can go to the graveyard where people usually go and offer the second funeral prayer for those who missed it in the masjid, where they place the deceased in front of them facing the Qibla. If you missed that as well and deceased is buried, then you go to the grave and you make the grave between you and the Qibla, you're facing the Qibla, and you offer the same funeral prayer as done. It's part of the sunnah to offer the prayer for someone who is not there in absentee, so it's known as Salatul Ghalib. The Prophet ﷺ did this once, and the Najashi had died, and he was the king of Ethiopia. What he had done to Islam and how he shouted the Muslims, Jashi ibn Talib, and those who migrated to this country, and what he had done for them. When he accepted Islam, the Prophet, when he died, ﷺ, when the Najashi died, he informed the Muslims that he had died, and he gathered them and faced the Qibla and offered the funeral prayer. Can we do this to our loved ones who died overseas or for relatives who were present at the funeral? The scholars say that this is not permissible except for two conditions. One, either that the deceased had no Muslims around him to offer such a prayer. Such a Muslim who dies in a Kafir country, no Muslims with him, and Kafir bury him. This is permissible to offer prayer over such a deceased. The second condition is that the person who died and he is absent, he is not in a country, is someone of great benefit to the Muslims. The scholar is a righteous ruler and leader, a rich man who benefited the Muslims all over the place. Finally, the ruling of offering the funeral prayer upon someone of a miscarriage. A miscarriage is one of two: either the fetus was below 120 days, or it means that the soul was not breathed in, so he was not a full-fledged human being, and hence scholars say that on such a fetus a funeral is not prayed, rather it is shrouded and buried. But if it's 120 days and above, then obviously such a fetus is a human being. It would be washed, shrouded, and offered funeral prayers and buried. That would precede his parents on the day of judgment and drag them by the permission of Allah to paradise as a reward for the patience, if they endured when they faced this calamity in their life. I leave you here في إمان الله وصلى الله وبارك على نبينا محمد. استغفر الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.